The attack is sharp, especially when the Prime Minister calls the policies of the governments of that era a spineless approach that resulted in the country suffering from consequences in the form of violence and bloodshed, be it Kashmir, Northeast or Red Terror. But is there merit in the Prime Minister saying Congress forgot Sardar Sahib's vision? He did not. Joining me on India First is Nishant Rawal, national spokesperson of the Congress Party. With me on India First is Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Professor Makhan Lal, a well-respected historian, joins us on the show. With me also, my colleague Sandeep Unnithan. Nishant Rawal, I want to begin by asking you, sir. Sardar Sahib wanted the entire country to be united, just as he united other princely states, said the Prime Minister. But he says Kashmir was divided with a separate constitution and flag. In hindsight, was Article 370 a big mistake? What's the Congress's view on this, sir, and on what the Prime Minister said?
Gauravji, first of all, today's day is very important because today is I bow my head on 150th, the birth anniversary of the Iron Man of India, Sri Sardar Patel Sahib. Second, there is a death anniversary of Iron Lady Indira Gandhi ji. And third, you will laugh, the death anniversary of Seaplane, which has been inaugurated by PM Modi ji in Gujarat on 31st October 2020. And that entire project disappeared and the Gujarati cannot see the seaplane at all. Invisible seaplane, we don't know. The important thing is Sardar Patel being always the Iron Man for the Congress party and for the nation. But Congress has honored them a lot. But for BJP, Sardar Patel is just a marketing tool. Whenever PM Modi comes to Gujarat, comes to the land of Sardar Patel, Mahatma Gandhi ji, instead of spreading Sardar Patel ji ideology, he always put Congress on criticism. He always tried to argue with the Congress. He always tried to abuse the Congress. Why? Sardar Patel and Congress, nobody can separate them. Sardar Patel ji was the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee president for 25 years. And in 1931, Sardar Patel was the president of Indian National Congress. So, being a congressman, Sardar Patel and Nehruji relation was like brothers. And so many articles at that time you have seen, Gauravji, you are intelligent enough. I don't want to show you those articles. But I would like to say, before BJP came, before BJP born, before PM Modi ji become PM or CM of Gujarat, in 19 September 1963, Sardar Patel's statue was inaugurated by Pandit Nehru ji and President of India. Even in Godhra, 1949, Sardar Patel's statue was inaugurated by Pandit Nehru ji. And in 1991, Bharat Ratna been awarded to Sardar Patel ji for his tribute and for his great work.
Very pertinent points you've made. So let me take this to Tuhin Sinha. Tuhin Sinha, the Congress has strongly refuted claims that Sardar Patel wasn't recognized by the Congress, either him individually or the policies. Because, as Mr. Rawal said, Congress 13th of February 1949, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had unveiled a statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in Godhra, where he started his legal practice. In September 1963, the then President of India, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, unveiled the statue of Sardar Patel in Delhi. And of course, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was present there. There was a simple and powerful inscription at that statue which said, "Architect of India's Unity."
Well, good evening, Gauravji. Good evening, everybody. A very happy Rashtriya Ekta Divas to all of you. You know, Sardar Patel's life was rooted in two core beliefs: nation first and Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. Now, what Congress has done over the last few decades is compromised consistently on these two core values, and there cannot be a bigger insult to the legacy of Sardar Patel than Congress consistently compromising on those values. And I will give you some examples. For that matter, in fact, even on 26th October 1947, let me put this on record, that it was Sardar Patel who had insisted that Nehru make the King of Kashmir sign on the instrument of accession. Now imagine what would have happened if Nehru had gone ahead, with our forces reaching Kashmir even without signing the instrument of accession. When it came to Hyderabad in September 1948, we have seen how Sardar Patel eventually annexed Hyderabad, when Hyderabad would have been a huge national security issue had he not solved it that way. What did Congress do in the subsequent years? Between 2004 to 2008, you saw all kinds of terror attacks with Congress party not responding. But most importantly, Gaurav, I want to read out from a letter which Sardar Patel wrote to Nehru on 7th November 1950, just about, exactly about 75 years ago, where he had cautioned Nehru on the issue of China. Let me just read out a few lines. The Chinese government have tried to delude us by professions of peaceful intentions. There can be no doubt that during the period covered by this correspondence, the Chinese must have been concentrating for an onslaught on Tibet. The final action of the Chinese, in my judgment, is short of perfidy. Imagine this letter was written on 7th November 1950, and barely a year later, China took over Tibet. So the Congress party never really, heeded to Sardar Patel's advice, his sagacity on the issue of China. You can read the entire letter. It is full of deep insights and what the Congress party
absolutely.
eventually did
Operation
in the
Polo,
years ahead.
Operation Polo was all about liberation.
Including a secret MOU in 2008.
Okay.
Including
it was
a secret
truly about.
MOU in
I'll come back to.
2008
I'll come back to what
that
about
Congress
2008.
party never respected the legacy of.
Okay, Sardar Patel is what you say, but it was the liberation of Hyderabad from the forces of Nizam and the Razakars. Professor Makhan Lal, is there merit in the Prime Minister saying Congress did not follow the policy and the vision of Sardar Patel, especially on Kashmir?
I tell you, Sawant, whenever normally I avoid sitting with politicians because you ask them anything, but they will speak what they like. I will not get into Congress and BJP, but I will talk about what the documents say, what the history says. What Prime Minister says, his party will definitely answer. They are competent enough. Kashmir was being handled by Sardar Patel as Minister of Interior and helped by BP Menon. Kashmir issue was settled in Constituent Assembly. All the things were done. Kashmir became integral part of India as per the Constituent Assembly resolutions. After that, Nehru deputed Gopalaswamy Iyengar to make certain changes so that there could be two prime ministers designation, one for Kashmir, one for India. Kashmir could have separate jhanda, it could have a separate constitution, virtually separating the Kashmir. And you read the letters, written exchange between Gopalaswamy Iyengar and Sardar Patel, volume 1. Sardar Patel collected volumes edited by Durga Das, it's there in 13 volumes. Volume 1 deals with Sardar Patel's Kashmir issue. Now, entire thing was changed, but Gopalaswamy Iyengar said to Sardar Patel, I have made some little change. Please have a look at it so that we can place it back again in Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly was closed after discussion. Sardar Patel read and he said, it's a new draft and you are talking about minor changes. Sardar Patel was so angry with that draft that he wrote a resignation letter to Jawaharlal Nehru on Kashmir issue, said that I don't enjoy your confidence, you have put another outsider on me, I don't want to serve into the ministry, thank you for taking me and giving chance to me to serve into the ministry. Jawaharlal Nehru came to know about it, Sardar Patel has put in resignation. Before it could be leaked out, Nehru also, seventh sense prevailed. He requested not to press the issue. Many other senior people requested not to press the issue. So Sardar Patel's resignation did not go into press, but remained in file. Anybody can see it into volume 1, entire letter reproduced. So Sardar Patel later on said it was virtually ready, all finished, but Nehru's insistence for this inclusion of 370, not through Constituent Assembly, remember this, it was put by the special power of President of India, not by Constituent Assembly. And what Modi did, some leader said, Modi, let him take birth for 10 times, let him become a Prime Minister 10 times, he cannot touch Article 370. What they forgot is somebody who has the power to insert an article in the constitution will have the power also to withdraw it.
So Article
there was
370 was that festering wound that was finally sorted out on the 5th of August in 2019.
19.
But-
By
Yes.
same method, President withdrew that out of the constitution. There was
Absolutely.
no people
But
thought.
what was the need to introduce it in the first place is that festering wound for so many decades. But Sandeep, Sardar Patel had very effectively sorted out issues related to 560 states and principalities, including Hyderabad, which had a formidable military force, Operation Polo. Now, he called Nizam of Hyderabad under the Nizam and the Razakars festering cancer in India's belly, or words to that effect, and Operation Polo was that chemotherapy to sort it out. That
Absolutely.
approach, yeah, go on, Sandeep.
Surgical strike that Sardar Patel put into play to ensure that this very crucial part of India would remain with India. And that was Sardar Patel being at his pragmatic best. I mean, he was proponent of real politics, what we call today. It's very fashionable after Henry Kissinger and his writings and his actions. But Sardar Patel proved that way back in the 1940s with Operation Polo, when he sent the Indian army to reintegrate Hyderabad into India and use extreme force, use the Indian army against the Nizam of Hyderabad, who wanted to break away, in collusion with foreign powers. There was arms, ammunition, manpower being trained precisely for this reason. And you would have a Kashmir-like situation in the heart of India, in Hyderabad, and that is exactly what Sardar Patel, averted with Operation Polo by sending the Indian army in. It was very, very important that was possibly India's first surgical strike.
Absolutely. It's interesting you put it as India's first surgical strike of the Indian Army as part of police action, Operation Polo. But Nishant Rawal, does it not remain a fact that Dr. Manmohan Singh had described, I want to just cut to his tenure, left-wing extremism he defined as the biggest threat to India's internal security. Left-wing extremism had claimed not just lives of those 75 CRPF personnel, but virtually the entire Congress leadership. Today, the Narendra Modi government says they're on the cusp of declaring India red terror free by 31st March 2026. And this is the difference that the Prime Minister points out on left-wing extremism, on terrorism. The policy is taking forward Sardar Patel's legacy.
See, Gauravji, there are two things discussed going on here right now. Back to the 1947 war and what happens to POK and what happens to the policy made by the government of India at that time. And the second policy history. PM Modi ji, when he arrives at Statue of Unity and started his speech, he tried to modify, he tried to divert the topic. You remember, well, Professor Ji already said about that, but I would like to say one statement only. Dehradun, 4th June 1948, when war was going on between India and Pakistan, the first war, right? And we captured almost 70% of the Kashmir part, and Srinagar was also included in India. At that time, there was a correspondence between Sardar Patel ji and Gopala Swami, and Sardar Patel ji mentioned, I'll just quote two lines. The military position is none too good.
Permit me to say one line. Permit me to say one line,
resources
sir.
are strained to the uttermost, right? So the thing is, Sardar Patel ji's major concern was Junagadh and Hyderabad princely states, not Jammu and Kashmir at that time. Second thing, the relation between Nehru ji and Sardar Patel. See, two real brothers, two real sisters, they might have difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean their relation is like, one is going north side, one is going south side. No. Whatever decision they have taken, they have talked about that. It was with the mutual understanding. But my major concern is when PM Modi ji talking about legacy of Sardar Patel ji, I would like to show one picture. Can you see this picture? This tweet is by Deputy CM of Gujarat, Mr. Harsh Sanghvi. Can you see this picture? Sardar Patel ji, the legend of India, is blur, and PM Modi ji seems dark. Means PM Modi ji level is now above than Sardar Patel's legacy. It's not worth it. Even today, our Congress president took a oath at this particular day, when in 2027, when we form the government in Gujarat, our first step will be the Sardar Patel Stadium name. We will catch back. Why the Sardar Patel Stadium name in Ahmedabad has been international stadium name has been changed by PM Modi government with Narendra Modi Stadium. That is the
Fair enough.
major
The
part
only
that you are
caveat,
not
if you
respecting
permit
legacy
me,
of Sardar Patel ji.
the only point, if you permit me, and Sandeep Punithan and Professor Makhanlal with me on this broadcast, do keep in mind, Kashmir, Srinagar was always with India. Srinagar was never lost. Srinagar was almost lost. You know, the Pakistani raiders were barely 10 kilometers outside Srinagar, according to Sam Manekshaw, and Professor Makhanlal, will weigh in on that. That's the time when Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel asked Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Jawahar, do you want Kashmir or not? And when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said, of course I want it, he turned around and told Sam Manekshaw, there you have your orders, send in the army. And this has been narrated by Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw himself. But before I bring in Professor Makhanlal, Tuhin Sinha, respond. The government celebrating too soon on red terror. 11 districts still remain impacted. Challenges of urban Naxals still remains. And the Congress party now says that the attempt of the BJP is to show Prime Minister Narendra Modi is even larger than Sardar Patel. That's the allegation the Congress is leveling.
You know, from 110 odd districts impacted by Naxal terror in 2014 to barely 10 to 11 districts impacted now. Isn't that a huge achievement? There are days when 250 to 300 dreaded Naxals have surrendered on a given day. So I think we are very close. We are on the cusp of a Naxal-free Bharat. But when we talk about Naxal-free Bharat, which anyway is the biggest tribute to Sardar Patel on his 150th birth anniversary year.
Let's listen in. I want our viewers to listen in to then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh talk about the threat posed by left-wing extremism when he was Prime Minister. Listen in for a moment.
Concrete measures to deal with the very grave threat of Naxalism. I must point out here that the challenge of Naxalism has received our serious attention for quite some time now. We have adopted a two-pronged strategy to deal with the challenge.
Okay, what's the definition of urban Naxals, Tuhin Sinha, without naming individuals who are not there on the broadcast to defend themselves? Name calling is something that needs to be avoided. But tell me, what's the definition and what is your government doing about it?
Yes, absolutely. Let me educate my friend from the Congress party. The simple definition is white-collar ideological backers of the left-wing extremist movements. And I particularly named those three people who were inducted in NAC. I don't want to repeat the names.
So the
that is how left-wing, the fight against left-wing extremism. Please don't bargain, have the basic courtesy.
No,
that is how the fight against left-wing extremism was compromised by the Congress party. Now coming to another point. The Congress, now coming to another important point, the Congress is equally compromising a fight against illegal migrants in Bengal, in Assam. In Assam, one of the senior leaders sings the national anthem of Bangladesh. This is how they are compromising a fight against illegal migrants.
Let me now take this to the next point that was raised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and I want to bring in Professor Makhanlal into this conversation. When the issue of Ghuspetiya or infiltrators was raised, he spoke of the historical challenges and he spoke of challenges that we face today. Professor, historically the challenge that the country has faced has been from infiltrators, whether it was armed tribal raiders in 1947 in Kashmir or from Bangladesh today. Both then and now, Ghuspetiyas stand accused of changing demographic profile from the border belt and then systematically moving in the interiors. Does that pose a massive challenge, and is there a place where we are not learning from history?
Yes, I will answer it, but before that, let me make a correction.
Go on, sir.
Something my friend Rawal said, that Sardar Patel was less interested in Kashmir and more interested in Junagadh and Hyderabad. Here is the first volume of Sardar Patel correspondence, 400 pages. All correspondence between Sardar Patel, Abdullah, Nehru, Mountbatten, it's here. Sardar Patel has not spent even 20 pages on Hyderabad and Junagadh as these 400 pages on Kashmir are there. Kashmir was very central to discussion between Nehru and Sardar Patel, and Sardar Patel in fact gave up because of Nehru, Edwina Mountbatten and Mountbatten's scheming, going to international, going to UNO and all that. Let us accept that Nehru was also a human being. Only God can be faultless. All humans have the problems. So let us not make somebody God. Nehru was a human being. Let us accept that yes, he committed mistake.
Okay.
As far as infiltration is concerned, read biography of Ahmad Faraz. Ahmad Faraz, I don't know any one of you have heard of him. A great poet in Pakistan. Yes. He was in 1947 MA student in Peshawar. He came along, he has written in his autobiography and biography that it was Pakistan army. Along with that, I also infiltrated India. It was army, but name was given Kabailis.
Raiders.
Let us accept that. It was all innovation. It was army which raided. Nehru did not accept it till the last because his friend, Sahibzada is who? Liaquat Ali Khan. Never he said, dear Mr. Prime Minister, dear Sahibzada. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, we are all seeing what is happening in India, where Bangladeshi infiltrators have become MPs, Member of Parliament and Assembly. You and I know. Your channel has exposed some of the members who became Assembly members, and it was proven that they are infiltrated Bangladeshi. They have not only changed the geography, they have not only changed the demography, and Assam has been the worst sufferer. Yes. I don't want to take the name because person is no longer in the world. He cannot come and defend. But everybody knows who he was, and during his time, what happened in Assam and other
absolutely.
Things.
And Sandeep, it's a fact. Sandeep, it's a fact. Those tribal raiders and backed by the Pakistan army, they changed demographic profile of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, what is known as northern areas. From Peshawar, you had people who were changing the demographic profile. The Shia Muslims became minority. And even in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Kashmiris are in a minority. The Pakistani Punjabi Muslims have dominated. So demographic profile is a challenge. Indian territory in illegal occupation of Pakistan and on our eastern front. But the Prime Minister is highlighting mistakes of the past when he talks about the challenges of the future, which is Ghuspetiyas.
Absolutely, Gaurav. And you know what happened in 1947 was something that the Pakistan deep state, it began in 1947, and this has been a strategy for them right through. 1965, they tried the same thing. In 1999, you had Kargil, where they infiltrated the so-called Mujahideen, but who were actually Northern Light Infantry. So this has been part of Pakistan's deep state strategy right from 1947. This thing of using raiders to using infiltrators to establish, presence in territories that they claim. This has been part of their playbook. And I think this is the cardinal mistake that the political leadership under Prime Minister Nehru made in 1947 was to stop fighting in Jammu and Kashmir, because of which today the state of Jammu and Kashmir is divided among 3 countries, all of whom are nuclear armed. And you have actually facilitated a land bridge between Pakistan and China. A land bridge that did not exist until 1947 was actually willy-nilly created because the Pakistan, occupiers, the raiders came in over there. They captured large parts of Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. You've actually allowed a land bridge, a collusivity between Pakistan and China, which is translated into the China-Pakistan economic corridor.
Mistakes.
And we're talking about 2
Absolutely.
fronts, which have become one front today, Gaurav. We have seen that during Operation Sindoor. Both the fronts,
Absolutely.
China and Pakistan, are today one front because of that cardinal mistake that we made in 1947, allowing a land
a
bridge
mistake in
between China and
1947
Pakistan.
A mistake in 1947, and we are still paying the price in 2025. Nishant Rawal, the Prime Minister not only highlighted the threat of Ghuspetiyas or the infiltrators who are entering our country, consuming our resources, disrupting our demographic balance, but he's also accusing past governments, sir, of turning a blind eye to the crisis and accusing some of waging a political battle to secure the rights of these infiltrators. Sir, is he blaming the opposition of appeasement politics and vote bank politics, sir?
No, when you are talking about Ghuspetiyas, Gauravji, I would like to say, can you please just try to recheck the records of 10 years of tenure of Dr. Manmohan Singh ji? You know that more than 50,000 plus Ghuspetiyas were out of the country. And in BJP, 11 years, past 11 years, in some of the years, 50 or 60 Ghuspetiyas they have captured and sent to out of the country, or sometimes 500, sometimes 600. Can you see the figures? How can PM Modi ji talk about Ghuspetiya thing and abuse the past governments at the day of Sardar Patel ji's Janma Jayanti when your government records and states are too less than last 10 years of UPA Congress government? Okay, if you have the central government, you have the central rights. West Bengal state government, the border area is under the CRPF, under the border security forces, under the Indian Army. Why you are not giving orders? Why you are not capturing them within our geography, within the state of Delhi, within the state of Gujarat, within the state of Maharashtra, right? We know that. We all know that. Gauravji, I'm accepting that Ghuspetiyas and majorly Bangladeshis are everywhere. Even they are sitting in my city also. I know some of the area, and whenever we get chance, whenever we get the proof that few 15, 20 Ghuspetiyas are staying here without any ID proofs, we always, as an opposition, responsible opposition, we always try to inform to the authorities. But to seize the border, to save the border, is the major responsibility of Guru Mantri Amit Shah ji and the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh ji. You cannot abuse. You cannot just go away from your responsibilities.
Pertinent point you raised there, and let me take this to Tuhin Sinha. Sir, the BJP has been in power for the past 11 years, and it's had the numbers in the past 11 years independently as BJP also and as part of NDA also.
Gaurav,
So instead of blaming the opposition, the Home Ministry and the Defense Ministry, both under the BJP,
Gaurav,
why hasn't this issue been sorted out?
Let me quickly point out, Gaurav, let me quickly tell you some of the things which the Assam government has done to arrest illegal migration. Number one, we have invoked the Immigrants Act of 1950. Now, DMs can independently take the call on who is an illegal migrant based on papers. Number two, in certain areas where Hindu population, the ethnic minority rather, were extremely vulnerable, now they are empowered to have arms. And number three, Aadhaar card is not being issued to anybody who is above 18 years of age. Now, the Congress stands opposed to it, and that is why they are trying to protect illegal migrants in all of these areas by, at times singing the Bangladesh national anthem and at other times steadfastly opposing it. Our commitment is that in all the border states, let the BJP government come to power. We will do what we have done in Assam. In Assam, we have allayed the demographic danger by a good 2 decades. We will do the rest in all the other states, including the Santhal Pargana area of Jharkhand.
Okay, Professor Makhanlal wants to come in. Go on, sir. Make your point, sir.
20 seconds, please, Gauravji. Just 20 seconds, please.
Sandeep, I like the way you put the statistics. I like the way you said these many hundred thousands were sent abroad. Between 1947 and 77 gap, 2 years, you ruled till 2014 with gaps of few years. In whose regime, in whose government time these Ghuspetiyas came? And what the government was doing? It appears very nice to say what the Home Minister is doing, what the Defense Minister is doing today. Since when these came, Ziaul Haq had said that terrorists and Ghuspetiya are of our army. वो वाजपेयी के जमाने में नहीं कहा था उन्होंने. He did not say in Vajpayee's government or in Modi's government. When he said that Ghuspetiyas and terrorists are our army, what did you do with that? Rohingya came went right up to Rohingya, went right up to Jammu and Kashmir. In Delhi, they are occupying areas. In whose regime they came? Let us accept the responsibility that if our house is burning, don't blame who is saving less and who is saving more. Just
No, in
blame
fact,
first
you're
why
absolutely
the
right,
house
sir.
got into fire. How the house got
Absolutely.
into
On
fire.
the issue of Ghuspetiyas, I'm surprised that everybody is not on the same page, Sandeep, because this isn't a threat to an opposition ruled state or a central ruled state or a ruling party ruled state. This is a threat to our country and to our future generations. If demographic profile is being changed in the manner in which General Sinha wrote about it, and such a long time back, late General Sinha.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Demographic, as they say that, demography is destiny. And this is what's happened to several districts of ours adjoining our neighbors, where, you've seen massive changes in demography. This is not to target any particular community or any political party, but the fact is that there have been serious demographic changes along the border districts, especially bordering Bangladesh. And let's not forget, Gaurav, that we went to war with Pakistan in 1971 because
Yes.
the Pakistan military deliberately pushed refugees in to alter the demography of our border areas. And we are still grappling more than 50 years later. Most of our northeastern states are still grappling with the effects of what happened in 1971. And this is something that continues till date, that you have entire border districts that have been changed, the demography has been changed, majorities have been turned into minorities in all of those districts. So this is something that is really worrying, because you're talking of literally, genocide of a different nature, a cultural genocide that is being brought about by, infiltration, by, migrants coming and settling and altering demographies of entire districts of India.
And that just shows how myopic some of our leaders are if we are not realizing how grave a threat of these Ghuspetiyas is to our future generations. So we are not only, perhaps for votes in today's generation, we are going to destroy the families and future of our next generation in our country with these Ghuspetiyas. Professor Makhan Lal, before I bring in Mr. Rawal.
Country will not survive, forget about generations. If we don't care Ghuspetiya, if we don't care infiltrators, if we don't bother about the changing demographic system, rest assured I am an Institute of History. I can tell you examples right from all over the world.
Absolutely.
Any country which has not taken care of changing demographic structure has ceased to exist. Its original population has become subservient and they have ceased to matter. As simple as that.
And militarily, everyone's read about the Trojan horse. Many of these infiltrators are being seen as the Trojan horse in various countries. General Ziaul Haq used them as a weapon. We know of that, and yet we don't open our eyes to it.
Gaurav, he openly said, so I am not bothered about Congress left right. I am bothered about this country. My loyalty is with country, and I appeal everybody to think about the country and not the criticism of Modi, Shah, or this and that. Think about the country. If country will survive, you will also survive. Otherwise, end of it.
Absolutely. Late General Sinha's report on Assam must be made public, and all those details put out in public domain about the change in demographic profile around the India-Bangladesh border in Assam, and Sandeep subsequently in Bengal, the other reports that have come out. But Mr. Rawal, the Prime Minister also accuses the Congress of appeasement politics and pursuing the agenda of outside forces. He gave the example of Vande Mataram, for example, saying the Congress removed a portion of Vande Mataram on religious grounds. He seems to indicate that the Congress divided the society and furthered British agenda. Then the Congress decided to break, cut and divide Vande Mataram. It laid the foundation of India's partition. How would you respond to that, sir?
Gauravji, even today, small block level programs, whenever we have any block level programs, we start our programs with the song of Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram was first time sung officially in any political way in Congress Adhiveshan before we got the freedom. And this is the fact. Vande Mataram is in heart and soul of each and every Indian. And who bring British agenda, everyone knows, the history knows, the small students also knows that who supported Britishers. Which people were mafias and they were taking 60 rupees worth of pension from the British government. We all knows. We also knows in 1942 when Bharat Chodo Andolan was going on, a small kid worth of 2 years and a vrud like a aged person of 80 years, 85 years joined Bharat Chodo Andolan. But none of the leader of RSS, none of the leader of Hindu Mahasabha joined that project. You know, in 1942, when Bharat Chodo Andolan was going on, Hindu Mahasabha was forming a government with Sindh Prant, with Bengal Prant, with Muslim League. And India's number one terrorist, India's number one fugitive, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, India's number one gun, Muhammad Ali Jinnah's party, who formed the government with them. Later on, this is the BJP policy. Later on, you were criticizing PDP as the terrorist political party, and you run the government with them for 2.5 years. I request PM Modi ji, you should not have two faces. If you want to criticize Congress in some fault, in some mistakes, you also criticize your people who went to Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Mazar. Advani ji, na? Why he didn't quote about Advani ji? That it was BJP's mistake. It was PM Modi ji's guru's mistake that he went to Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Mazar to give him a tribute. Only one citizen of India went to Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Mazar.
Let me bring in Professor Makhan Lal on the aspect of Vande Mataram and the country marking 150 years of the iconic national song. Why were the British so against Vande Mataram, and post-independence, should anyone have an issue with Vande Mataram like some do, sir?
Just look at the wordings of Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram very clearly instills and fills you with pride. Pride towards whom? Pride your culture,
Motherland,
towards pride your
culture.
country, pride your motherland. And I must say with all respect, something which has been published and why it was opposed. Why it was opposed, I will have an example of it. 1953, I have quoted 1953, a French delegation came to India. Pondicherry is their favorite place because of mother, you know. After traveling all over India, they sought to meet Jawaharlal Nehru. 10 minutes meeting. It has all been published first in French, now English translation is available. Search on net, you will find. 10 minutes they praised India's culture, India's civilization, India's future. And what they said, quoting Einstein, that future of world lies in following Indian civilization and India's civilizational greatness.
Yes.
Jawaharlal Nehru said, you are praising the very same thing I have been trying to destroy since all my life. If that was the attitude of Prime Minister, I am sorry, he was very much against with these kind of things which could fill in the pride in the country.
In fact, Sandeep, that's the point that Prime Minister Narendra Modi tried to raise today when he spoke of the Jyotirling, the 12 Jyotirlings, the Shakti Peeth, the Char Dham that unites our country and our people in one bond. The Prime Minister also spoke of language, some trying to instigate language wars in India. He said languages unite, languages don't divide us. The oldest language, Tamil, rich culture, rich literature, Sanskrit, the language of knowledge. Every language is like a note of music that makes a melodious song, Sandeep. That's what unites our country, our culture, our civilizational history.
Absolutely, Gaurav. You know, what you said is absolutely right. Civilizational history. You know, India is may have been a republic only in the 1950s, but before that, we are the legacy, we are the heirs of a 5,000-year civilization. And that is something that needs to be acknowledged. And, you know, there is a school of thought which says that, erroneously, of course, that India did not exist before 1947. This absolutely, that is so erroneous, Gaurav. The fact is that we are a young democracy, a young republic, but we are an ancient civilization. We are possibly the longest lived civilization in the world today. And
Yes.
that is something that Prime Minister Modi is emphasizing, that there is a civilizational continuum of that India has. And it is not that the country was born overnight in 1947 and it did not exist before that. So I think that is the, that's the message that he's been giving in all of his speeches, especially in today, saying that, there is a certain civilizational continuum that we have seen with India, which is a young democracy, it's a young republic, it's a young nation, but it's an ancient civilization, Gaurav.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. Professor Makhan Lal, Sandeep, Mr. Rawal and Mr. Sinha for joining me here on this India First special broadcast. Many thanks.